Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Bart Klika, Chief Research and Strategy Officer here at Prevent Child Abuse America, and I'm here for another installment of a monthly research review. This month, I'm actually doing a two-part series on the topic of social norms. Today, I'm going to introduce the concept of social norms, provide some definitions, and in the second part of this preview, at the end of the month, I'm going to be providing an update on some of our work from PCAA on the topic of social norms. So let's get started. Here is a graphic that will be familiar to many, the social ecological model. When we're looking to prevent a problem, we need to look at both risk and protective factors at each level of the social ecology: individual, family relational, community neighborhood, and the societal level, which includes the notion of social norms. Less often discussed in some of our conversations about the social ecological model is the notion of time. So as we think about risk and protection across multiple levels of the social ecology, we must also keep in mind the notion of time. That is, that risk and protection will change over time, and in relation to our conversation today, social norms change over time. Social norms refer to the beliefs, values, attitudes, and behaviors of a group of people. Now, when we talk about norms, we typically talk about two types of norms. First are actual norms. So these refer to what people actually believe, value, and do in their lives. So if we wanted to assess an actual norm related to the problem of child abuse, we might ask someone to indicate their level of agreement with the following statement: child abuse is a problem in my community. How they respond to that question represents their actual norm. We know, however, that perceptions of norms are very strong drivers of our behavior. That is, what we perceive that others believe, value, and do will have a strong influence over what we believe, value, and do. So if we want to assess perceptions of norms related to a problem like child abuse, we might ask someone to indicate their level of agreement with the following statement: most adults believe that child abuse is a problem in my community. From a social norms perspective, we're interested in whether there are misperceptions, or what we might call gaps, in norms. So do people believe, value, and do one thing, but perceive that other people believe, value, and do something else? Since perceptions of norms are a strong driver of our behavior, we begin to understand why misperceptions of norms are a problem, or can be a problem. For example, I might believe that child abuse is a problem, but if I perceive that others do not think it is a problem, I may be less likely to engage in any child abuse prevention activities for concern about violating a norm or being an outlier in my community. In my next series, I'm going to talk with you all about some of the research we've done at Prevent Child Abuse America in relation to the topic of social norms. Down below, I've provided some resources for you, a supplement from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the actual link to the HOPE report that I'll be covering in our next segment, a document from UNICEF, and a book that covers the topic of social norms. If you have any questions, please contact me at the email address on the screen.